Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for everyone that has signed up to this readathon so far. It's going to be such a good month. I'm really excited to do this recommendations for you all. I just want to start off by saying that this is just a recommendations video on the prompts that are harder, because there are a lot of prompts that are up to your own interpretation and it depends on what's on your bookshelf, what's your favourite book, what's on the top of your TBR. Those sort of prompts aren't going to be ones I'm going to be helping you out with because it's different for every single person. I am going to be doing like a TBR at the end of the month before July starts, before the readathon starts. So I will be giving you like a little sneak peek on what's on the top of my TBR, but I'm not going to give you loads of books to give you when everyone's TBR looks completely different and there are loads of other prompts that are up to your own interpretation. Saying this, there are two teams that I'm only going to be doing one prompt for. Also, if you are coming onto this video and you have no idea what this readathon is, I will leave the announcement link down below, as well as a Discord and everything that you can find down below. It's a great team-based competitive readathon. It's still on the chiller side compared to other competitive readathons, but it is still competitive nonetheless. But I'm so excited to get into this with you all. I'm also going to say I haven't read all of these books. There are quite a lot of these books that I have read that are on my read shelf that I've loved, but there are a lot of these books that I haven't read, that I've actually researched, because there are a lot of these prompts that are very specific, and I have read a few books that are specific to these prompts, but I'm giving you 6 books per difficult prompts that are very specific to what's inside the book. I'm not going to be giving you any recommendations based on your team's colour. There are going to be so many books throughout this video that are really colourful, so obviously if you see any, if you're on like Team Eek and you seem like a purple colour, then that's obviously a recommendation. But I've tried doing both, as in the prompts as well as the team colour, and it just got a bit too crazy, a bit too repetitive. So if you see a book that's your team colour and you're interested in that book, get that book and use that book. I have written this all down because this is my second time trying to film this video, and I've got a whole you probably can't see it, but I've got a whole list of books here, and all prompts have different books, so there's no repeats, even though a lot of these books do count for loads of different prompts, so do bear that in mind when I'm going through all of this. So the first team we're going to go through is Team OK. The first difficult prompt that we've got on this team is diary entry or a journal entry. Now with diary, obviously there's the whole Dear Diary thing, but also a journal for me is something that you doodle in, something that you write in, something that you write to-do lists in. So if there's a book that has a to-do list or has any sort of doodles that looks like a journal, you can count it. So we've got Gone Girl. This one does have a diary entry. I haven't read the book, but I do have the physical book and I've looked through it and it does have a diary entry. Good Girl's Guide to Murder. The first and second book for sure, because I have flicked through them because I've got the physical books. They have like journals pretty much of her going through this murder and trying to figure out who's done it. The Wicked King, this one is a much older one, but there is a full-on page where there are just doodles and it looks like a journal. I have researched this, and Goodreads have said that Twilight have diary entries. And then we've got Get Alive Chloe Brown. She writes a list in a journal, like a to-do list in her journal, so I would count that as well. So going on to the next one, features well-known or famous people. So the first one I've got is Twisted Games by Anna Huang. She's a princess, she's well known in her country. Red, White and Royal Blue, I know one of them is a prince, so obviously they're well known as well. 7 Days in June, both of the main characters are authors, they're very well known authors. For her consideration, one of them is like a movie writer, I think, from what I can gather from the blurb of this book. It's also a sapphic romance as well. American royals, so this is pretty much if America had a royal family of their own. They are well known in that alternative universe. And then also lastly we've got the Magnolia Parks universe. All of these people are well known, they're all part of the socialites in London. Final prompt that we're going to go through from Team OK is the third point of view. Is It Happened One Summer and also Hook, Line and Sinker. This is obviously a duology. I do love this duology. It's a really good romance series, especially for the summer. Anxious People. This is also another book that I've read. I've really enjoyed. It's quite comical in some sort of way, but it is very good. Will They or Won't They? This is a romance book. The Vanishing Half. This is a very well-known book, but it is in the third point of view. Little Fires Everywhere. This is a very old book. It's been on my TBR for so long. Sorry if I've moved. I had to just check on my child. Next team we're going to be discussing is Team Hiss. This is the team that has more specific prompts, but they're not necessarily hard, they're just a bit more specific. So the first prompt we've got is snake on the cover. There are a lot of books that have got snake on the cover, so a few of them are Hollowed Games. This is on Kindle Unlimited and it is a fantasy romance that involves a vampire, so that is what I'm reading. I'm very excited. We've got Girl Serpent Thorn, There Are No Saints, and also, because this is a duology, there is no devil. I've read the first one and it's a lot of fun. Kingdom of the Wicked. This is a fantasy book. Ninth House, once again a fantasy book. Serpent and Dove series, the whole series is a trilogy. From what I know, all three books do have a snake on the cover. Book featuring a musician. We've got The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, Malibu Rising, Daisy Jones and the Six. These are all from Taylor Jenkins Reid. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid's books. A lot of her books do involve musicians in some sort of way. Then we've also got the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare, our main female character, but her best friend is part of a band. So this is what I mean when I say it doesn't have to be a huge focal point of the book. We've got American Royalty. This features, it's a romance that features like a prince from the royal family and also a American rapper. So another one we've got is The Woman in Me, which is Britney Spears' book about her life and everything like that. If you want to read from a musician, like an actual musician in our real life, you're more than welcome to. That definitely counts. The next one we got is Character Feels or Is Misunderstood. I know a lot of the time you've got to read the book to know if the character is misunderstood. A lot of the time the blurb doesn't tell us. Amari and the Night Brothers, also the second book as well, because it still follows the same character. We've got the Fortuna Sworn series. This is a indie series, a great series, and Fortuna Sworn feels like she's misunderstood a lot because she's a nightmare and a lot of people don't really understand or are scared of nightmares and their powers. We've also got the Never After series. This is a dark romance, so I'm gonna say this now, if you don't like dark romance, this won't be for you. We've also got the Inheritance Games. I've only read the first book, but in the first book she finds out that she's come in a lot of money, this character, and the whole family is wondering why. This main character, she's from like the rough side, well not the rough side, well yeah, the rough side of town, and she feels very misunderstood because obviously this family is very well known, is very famous, has a lot of money, and a lot of people think that she's schemed, and she's like, I haven't, and she feels misunderstood. So that definitely counts in my opinion. Blood Sugar as well. This one's a bit more of a funnier one. So this one follows a serial killer, a female serial killer. We know she's a female serial killer from the get-go, and we go through all of the people that you know, she's killed in her day, and we go from past to present, and in the present, like, she's being investigated because the police think that she has killed her husband who's recently passed away when she hasn't. This is a bit more of a different take on Misunderstood. We've also got the final one, which is Beastly. This is a very old book, but it is pretty much a guy who is pretty much a dickhead at the beginning of this book. I'm gonna say it as it is. He is just not a nice person, and he gets on the wrong side of a witch. She turns him into a beast, and he's pretty much misunderstood now from now on because now he's a beast. I've read it. It's a very nostalgic read. It may have aged the last time I read it, but it does count for this prompt. And then another one is All This Name Starts with a H. So I'm just throwing out a few books out there for you. So we've got To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han, Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, Book Lovers by Emily Henry, Courier by Holly Down. This is a thriller or a mystery. The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black, and The Four Winds by Kristen Hannah. Got Team Pink. So the first prompt is a book with more than 2 points of view. Legacy of God series by Readathon. This is a dark romance series. I've read this series, the whole series. It is a dark romance, so please, if you don't like this series, don't read it. But for anyone that loves dark romance, this is for you. So in the final book, the 6th book, God of War, there are 3 points of view, but the rest of the books in the series have 4. Truly Madly Guilty. This is a thriller that Goodreads says has more than 2 points of view. Then we've got An American Marriage. Once again, this is Goodreads. This is a prompt that you don't know if it has more than 2 points of view until you've read the book, so I did have to research quite a lot for this prompt. Then we've got Normal People, Six of Crows, the Six of Crows series. We've got a Darker Shade of Magic series. I haven't read this one. This one was a suggestion. The cover has changed in the last year. So we've got Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. This is the Netflix adaptation cover that's recently come out, like so recently. It ends with us. A Curse of Blood and Wool. If you have Fairy Loots, it's changed from their romancy series, so if you've got that book it will count. We've also got One Day, because that's a movie now, so the book has changed. The Idea of You, which once again it is a movie now. And also we've got Murder Road by Simone St. James. This is a thriller or mystery, and it is part of the, I can't remember what their subscription is, but the Illumicrate mystery thriller subscription that comes every 3 months, every quarter. Team Raw, so we've got book featuring a sport. This is the only prompt that we're going through with Team Raw, because the rest of their prompts are quite up to your own interpretation. But book featuring a sport. We've got the Windy Air series. This is a great series. I love this series. The newest book is coming out. Then we've got Carrie Soto is back. This is a tennis literary fiction book. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this book. It wasn't her best, but it was a good book. Then we've got Dirty Hits. This is another dark romance series, not for the faint of heart. Some people will hate it, but I really enjoyed it. It does follow certain things that I like in a dark romance book. And we've also got Boys of Tommen series. I've recently got into the series. This is such a good series so far. I'm on the 2nd book. They are thick, but you would get the page counts for them, and there are so many triggers for the series, so please check those trigger warnings first. This is another one. I did Flawless and Heartless. I haven't read the rest of the book, so I can't say anything about that, but the characters for the 1st and 2nd book are MMCs. They are like bull riders, which is a sport. So that would count. And then we've also got finally the graphic novel series, very beloved. I love this series so much. We've got Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. Team Jocks. Now Team Jocks is another team that only has 1 prompt that I'm doing for this round, and that is simply because all the other ones are up to your own interpretation, up to what's on your TBR. It's 2024 release. So some books that are out there that have come out this year that you may want to read for this prompt is Bride, A Funny Story by Emily Henry, Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, A Fate Inked in Blood. This is a romantasy, I think, or a fantasy romance. The Reappearance of Rachel Price. This is a mystery thriller. And then Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. There's also like Heartless Hunter. I think that came out this year, but it's called something different in the UK. It's Crimson Moth, I think. I could be really wrong, but yeah. And then finally we do have Team Eek. So the first prompt we got is strong female main character. I've got quite a lot to play with here. So we've got the Throne of Glass series. So our main female main character is very strong. She is an assassin. Then we've got Half a World Away. This is a literary fiction book. I've read, I cried. It's on my forever bookshelf. It's not leaving. The Last to Let Go. This is another sad one that I have read. But The Last to Let Go, The Way I Used to Be, and The Way I Am. These are all by Amber Smith. Amber Smith, I think it is. We've got A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I have repeated this twice, so whoops. But for me, she's obviously trying to figure out who's the killer, and to me that is a strong person, because they're going up against the police and just all of that. My Dark Vanessa. This is so many trigger warnings pretty much for all of these books that I've mentioned in the strong female main character, except for like Throne of Glass, as far as I'm aware. But all the rest of these books, The Last to Let Go, Half a World Away, The Way I Used to Be, and The Way I Am, all of these books, so many trigger warnings. The next prompt we've got is LGBTQ plus books. The books I have popped on here, there are so many, but I'm doing this so a lot of these aren't talked about that much, if at all, so they are here. Some of them are well known, but some of them aren't. There have been a lot of LGBTQ plus books that I've already mentioned in this video. So What If It's Us? She Drives Me Crazy. One Last Stop, For Her Consideration. After Love, which is also literally, I've only got one romance on here, all the rest are sapphic. After Love, beautiful cover as well. And then Delilah Green Doesn't Care. And then we've got alliteration in the title. It only needs to be 2, but if you've got more than 2, you're more than welcome to do that. All of these do only have 2 on though, but there are loads of books out there that have more than 2. This is a dark romance series. Once again, I have sprinkled them throughout because that is what, well, not what I'm known for, because I'm not well known, but it's just what I know, it's what I read a lot of. But the Montana Mountain Men series, all of the books in this series have mountain men at the end, so there is alliteration completely for any of these books in the series. But it is an incredibly dark series. It isn't for the faint of heart. Some people are going to hate it because it does involve things that, you know, that a lot of people will question. Beautiful Broken Things, a fantasy book which is Beneath Black Sails. This is on Kindle Unlimited. Brown Boy Nowhere by Sherelle Lim, I think you pronounce the surname. But this has been on my Kindle for so long, so I really need to read it. Then we've also got an oldie but a goodie, Everything, a mystery thriller that I need to end this video off, is 50/50. I haven't read it, but it is on my Kindle and it needs to be read. So they are all of my recommendations. I hope you've been here to the very end. I'm really, really excited to start this readathon. I hope I've helped some of you with your TBR. I cannot wait to see all of your TBRs. There are templates that I've got now that are on the Readathon's Twitter page, or X page, whatever you want to call it, but it's Twitter. But there are like templates, there are like currently reading templates that are on there, and also your TBR templates. So if you want to tag me on Twitter, that is absolutely great. I'll leave a link down below of my of the Readathon's Twitter down below, because that's the only place where you can really get the templates, as well as on Discord. There is a currently reading. This took me so long to sort out and do, but I'm so happy with how it looks. But yeah, I hope you will join in and enjoy the readathon, and yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye.